But as we speak, the Pacers find themselves up 2-1. Could have been 3-1. Oh no, could have been 3-0. But they find themselves up 2-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals. I said that it could have been 3-0 because they were up 20 points in game 3 and ultimately lost. Karl-Anthony Towns had an incredible, he had 20 points in the fourth quarter and they lost. And game 3 really exposed the issue that the Pacers have. And I said game 3, the one game that they lost in this series, because, like I said, winning masks a lot. It's hard to really tell what's what when you're winning, especially winning the way that the Pacers were winning. But we knew defensively they're not a great team. They get defensive stops when they need to at times, but they're not a great team. They really only have 2 solid defenders, and that's Nesmith and Miles Turner. But on top of that, one thing that I'm noticing is they play at 1 speed the entire time. 1 speed. Now, that was beneficial to them because in games 1 and 2, the Knicks tried to match that speed, and it just didn't work. No, they don't have the horses. They don't have the personnel to match that speed. But they play at Mach speed the entire time. Now, when they're hitting shots, it's a great thing, beautiful thing. Nothing wrong with it. Great. They're an incredible team, and they can very well find themselves in the finals. But like game 3, and even in game 3, when they were hitting, they were up 20 points. But do you realize that they never... Well, they took their foot off the gas, but not because like they were trying to play smart and slow the game down. It's just because they felt the win was in the bag. It's like, damn near everyone was in foul trouble for the Knicks. They felt like they had it. But then Karl-Anthony Towns happened in the fourth. On top of playing at 1 speed, shout out to Gil's Arena. They pointed it out. The stark difference between the Knicks and the Pacers is the person that has the ball the most on both teams has a different perspective of the game and has a different approach of the game. Meaning, Jalen Brunson has the ball most of the time for the Knicks, but in his mind, he looks at it as, I'm looking to score as much as I can. Because Jalen Brunson's superpower, like we talk about on this podcast, is scoring. He's a scorer of the basketball, one of the best. He has the ball in his hands the most. However, the person that has the ball in his hands the most for the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, his goal and his mindset is not score, it's let me set someone else up. The person actually that has that mentality is Pascal Siakam and Nembhard. The issue is, though, they're not as aggressive as they should be, and they can't because they don't have the ball in their hands a lot. I'm not saying that, again, I don't know what happens in game 4, and I'm not saying that is just going to kill the Pacers' chances. But even when you see Tyrese Halliburton does get into scoring mode, that's not the best option for the Pacers because he is. There's not another person on that team that can orchestrate the offense like Tyrese Halliburton. And there's nobody on that team that can really go get a bucket like Pascal Siakam. The difference is, however, goes back to what I was saying about Julius Randle. Pascal Siakam isn't as aggressive as he should. Maybe it's because he doesn't get the ball in his hands, but I just don't think he has a score first mindset or be the man mindset. This Pacers team, they are a great team. But they do have flaws that can ultimately derail their chances. Because trust me, again, I don't know what happens in game 3, but game 3 is a big game. But yeah, man, again, shout out to Gil's Arena and Gilbert Arenas in the crew. They really pointed out the two people in this series that have the ball in their hand the most views the game and their skill set is different from each other. And we're seeing that. And I also, going into it, I also said that the Robins were going to be the reason why they either win or lose. Pascal Siakam and Karl Anthony Towns. But what we're seeing is a game of styles. And the Pacers play with a dangerous style. But when I say dangerous, it can either be their greatest asset or it could be their biggest detriment. Because of the person that has the ball. The person that has the ball as much as he has, he's not looking to score. So if he passes it to you and you're not hitting, that's what the Pacers couldn't. I think they're like 5 for 30 or something from 3. They couldn't hit a 3 to save their life in game 4 or game 3. That's not. You can't play at a warp speed like that. Your best player continues to pass the ball, get it around, and you're not hitting. Especially going up against a team that isn't hitting themselves, but there are more. I mean, you have 2 players in Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson that are just going. Which also brings me to the Knicks. I think the Knicks' biggest issue, outside of defense, because I thought the Knicks were that was going to be their superpower compared to the Pacers, because the Pacers don't really play any defense. I thought the Knicks were going to be better defensively with Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby. They haven't been great defense at all. A lot of the threes that the Pacers miss is just because they miss them. It wasn't because the defense was just splendid. But I think an issue that has arisen, at least for this series, I don't think it's going to, I don't know what happens in game 4 again, but an issue that has arisen is because Jalen Brunson has the ball in his hand a lot, Karl Anthony Towns is not as aggressive. In fact, the times where Karl Anthony Towns has been aggressive has mainly been when Jalen Brunson's been on the bench, either for foul trouble or just because he needs to get a breather. This team does not have a shot if they're going to continue to play your turn basketball, your turn, my turn, because Bridges, he's been okay, but he ain't, OG Anunoby, he's been inconsistent. And Josh Hart, you know what you're going to get from him. They need, and I don't know if they're able to, because that's just how both Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson plays. Jalen Brunson needs the ball in his hand. And Karl Anthony Towns also needs the ball in his hand. So if they continue to play this this your turn, my turn thing, that's not helping the team. Again, Karl-Anthony Towns had 20 points in the fourth quarter in game 3, mainly because Jalen Brunson was struggling. He had 5 fouls. So he was on the bench most of the time. Now, yes, he did come in and hit some big shots, but still, if that gives the Pacers such an advantage, because it's like, all right, if one's going off, the other one isn't going to go off because the other one's not going to get the ball. That helps them defensively. And I went into this series saying that Karl-Anthony Towns was the X factor because as we saw him scoring 20 points in the fourth quarter, they don't have a player, even in Miles Turner, they don't have a player that can stay in front of Karl-Anthony Towns consistently. But they do if Karl-Anthony Towns is just watching Jalen Brunson play do what he do offensively. So I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm seeing it. That's interesting. Again, I'm recording this before game 2, or game 4. I'm sorry. So I don't know what happens in game 4, but by the time you hear this, it would already have happened, and we'll see. But as of right now, as I'm speaking, this is the game of the series. I'll go as far as to say this. If the Knicks win tonight, if the Knicks win game 4, and again, this is before it happens. If the Knicks win game 4, they're going to win the series. I know it'll be 2-2, but you essentially snatch the momentum back. If the Knicks win game 4, they win the series. If the Pacers, whoever wins game 4 wins the series. I stand on that. I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, I'll come in here and say it, but whoever wins game 4 will win the series. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.